Is this thing on? Hello, hello. Yeah, I would have gone live. I wanted to go live today. I'm celebrating. Oh my God, look at the size of these books. Awakening, book one. You've probably seen this one already, The Inner Compass. And book two is officially published today, Transformation. A novel by Abby Wynne. And look, there she is asleep. And there she is transforming. And they're big, aren't they? They're big. It's fiction. It's a story. It reads like a thriller. And the third one, you'll be glad to know, I'm not going to do a George Martin on you or a Patrick Rothfuss. It's already written. I've written the first vomit draft, as a friend of mine calls it. So I'm cleaning up the vomit. I'm actually going to make a really decent first script, get it edited, and I'm aiming to publish book number 3 in January of next year, which is great for those of you who've read book 1, because this is left on a very high dangling precipice of a cliffhanger, and everyone I know who's read this is dying to know what happens next. And look, you can find out because it's ready to go. No, it's not in the bookshops. No, I'm not selling them directly. You've got to go to Amazon or Book Depository if you want to buy the actual paperbacks. You can get Kindle, you can get all the other, there's a Nook and a Barnes and Noble and all those other kind of really cool ebook types. So what did I want to do? I wanted to come on here and talk to you. And yes, I said I wanted to do it live, but I'm not allowed. Because why? Well, I started sending light into Facebook. I don't know if you saw my Healing for Healers video / podcast episode that I did with the remarkable Katie Brockhurst. But we talked about, visualizing going into social media. How often do you show up there? What do you see when you get there? And she has this fabulous meditation that you could go to her and find out more about that. Go listen to the podcast episode, actually. It's really, really good. Ways to connect into social media. So I started doing it. I started putting light into Facebook and they banned me. They have put me on restrictions, so I'm not allowed to do adverts and I'm not allowed to go live and I'm not allowed, my profile won't be visible, my personal profile, but the pages are still there. So I thought, I'll record a video and I'm not going to worry about it, because if Facebook don't like me putting light into the platform, isn't it a strange platform to be on? So come and join me on Telegram. I'm on Telegram. I'll leave the link below there as well. And I'll leave Katie's link there too. So yeah, interesting times that we're in. We're very much in a time of matrix separation where we're pulling dark energies away from light energies. I'm sorry, I banged the owl desk there. I'm getting enthusiastic. I wanted to share about the books though, because I haven't been revved up and excited and bright and shiny to come on and read excerpts from these books and to share about the books, but I really want to, because they're very substantial. First of all, they're not difficult to read, second of all, and third of all, there is a third one coming. Did I tell you? No, here's the thing. You see, I've written self-help books already. I've written self-care, and I've said pretty much everything that I can say. Besides repurposing the methods into specific context, which I'll probably do eventually at some point. But energy healing made easy, teaches you how to do energy healing for yourself. How to be well. That teaches you how to be well in your day-to-day. It actually teaches you how to take your power back from relationships, how to put your power into you, and have a better wellness score, day-to-day wellness score, so you manage your everyday life. So what's the one thing that's going to stop you from doing that? It's having inner wounding. So then I wrote a book called, guess what? Heal Your Inner Wounds. So I believe between energy healing, how to be well, and heal your inner wounds, I've got a manual book, instruction book for you to heal yourself from anything. Now, yes, I probably will make a book of 5 days to raise your vibration, which is exercises and audio files that I've got on a program and on the Academy website, Abby's Online Academy, to help you shift and expand and increase your energy, and I'm probably going to write an emotional eating book, but I haven't been called and excited about doing that because a lot of the techniques that I'd be using were ones that are already in these 3 other books: Energy Healing, How to Be Well, and Heal Your Inner Wounds. So I thought, well, how else do I spread the word? What is that word I want to spread? So that's where this guy comes along, Awakening, because really what I want to do is show people that your brain is not the only way through. In fact, it's not the way through on its own. You must connect to the heart and to spirit. And so Awakening is the story of Marissa, who's based on me a little bit. And yeah, you know, gotta write about what you know, as they say, but she's a therapist in training, as I once was a long time ago. She's a therapist in training and she's learning psychotherapy, but she also starts to do Reiki. And then she gets called to Peru, drawn into shamanism, and starts wondering how does all of this stuff work? How does it get put together? But in the meantime, there's a story that ties, I should put this here because there's more room here. There's a story that ties everything together. So we visit Marissa. She goes to work. She's doing her training. And if you read scenes from this, they're actual client sessions that Marissa does. That is never going to be a client that I've ever seen before. I'm telling you, it's magical how this book just came together. Nobody in this book is anyone that I know. You know, all the clients walked in the door of my imagination. I would have Marissa sit in the room, her counseling room, and then there's a knock on the door. It's a new client to open the door, and I was meeting them too when they show up. I kept a diary of Marissa's whereabouts, what she's doing. So, you know, she's going to work, she's going to classes, she's doing her healing work, and every Wednesday, or is it Thursday? See, I can't remember now. Every Thursday she'd go to Cabra, the Priory. It was her first assignment as a psychotherapist in training, and then her clients would come in and they're the same clients from last week. And meanwhile, a whole week has passed and all the other stuff she's doing is happening in the book as well. So you're following along with her and like, oh my God, yes, I remember this client from last week. Guess what? That's what it's like when you're a therapist. You know, when you're seeing clients regularly. She sees her clients for 6 sessions over 6 weeks, and the book takes place, I'd say, about 3/4 of a year, almost a whole year for the 3 books. So you kind of get to know her clients, get to connect in with the work that they're doing. So you know that, say, Margaret is doing OCD and Marissa has to come in and help her with that, and then Neve comes along and she has anxiety and Marissa has to help her with that. And you know, you've got Clea now, whose life is a disaster, and Marissa's helping her with her anger issues. And meanwhile, that's not really the whole story, because you're following Marissa and her family and her brother and a new baby coming along and work. And is she going to work as a psychotherapist, but shamanism is scary, and is she going to do and a spiritual crisis going on, and she goes to Peru and has an experience there and comes back, and it changes her world. And people have said that they can't put the book down, that they see themselves in the book. And a lot of the issues that people have when you're learning, you know, how to integrate healing and psychotherapy, it's all kind of in here. And there's one thing that I did do is I've put in Marissa's thoughts in italic, so you can see what's going on in her head. I just opened it randomly at chapter 11. So why don't I read you a little bit just so you can get the feeling of what the book is like. Chapter 11. It had been almost a week, and Seamus still had not replied to Marissa's email. She wasn't fretting, but she kept wondering if she should write to him again and ask him if he had received it. She'd been doing some research on shamanic training and had found several more teachers in Ireland, but none that were close by or that she thought she liked the look of better. Olive's book was still lying where she had left it, unopened, its frayed edges beckoning to her to open it, even to a random page, but she resisted. This was normal for Marissa. Any time a big decision or a change was imminent, she went back and forth with it for days, for weeks even. She was still in bed. She wasn't in any rush to get to work. Even though it was close to 9 a.m., she was supposed to be at her desk in 10 minutes' time. Will I, won't I email Seamus thoughts rolled into will I, won't I go to work today, until Marissa couldn't stand being alone with herself. She'd already read the morning headlines and looked up her 354 friends on Facebook. She didn't know that she actually knew so many people. If I do call in sick, what would I do all day? If I can come up with a better plan than work, I'll do that, as long as I can still make it to class afterwards. She rolled over and looked out the window. Marissa was currently working on a new project for Noreen, who was hoping to do business in Canada. But typically Noreen had already done all the research herself. All Marissa had to do was put it all together in a reasonable looking document so Noreen could present it to the shareholders. That was only going to take her 5 minutes. She plodded to the bathroom, brushed the grime off her teeth and looked at herself in the mirror. She didn't look too tired today. Her skin was mostly clear. Her slight tan from Peru had faded. I could go to the cinema. When is the last time I took a sick day? That decided it. She called the office and asked for Ashley, the head of HR. Hi, Ashley, it's Marissa. I've got some sort of bug. I was up all night with it. I'm in the throes. Yes, I know it's awful. Hopefully it'll just be one of those 24-hour things. Yes, I will. Thank you so much. Can you tell Noreen I'll email her the file? Thanks. I'll definitely be in for sure tomorrow. So what is that, an admission that I've called in sick when I was working in an office? Haven't we all? How much of it is me and how much of it is Marissa? That's part of the fun of reading the book, but there's loads in it. I want to read you a little bit of a client session that she does because I think you might find that interesting. It's not the main part of the book though. There's a lot of learning in the book, but there's a lot of magic too. There's a lot of connecting in with angels, and you get to go to workshops with her as well. Let's see, can I find... you're waiting for me now. Here we go. Cleena, I'd mentioned Cleena. Cleena is like this much into the book. Wow. She's one of my favorite clients. So Cleena has come to visit Marissa in Cabra for a client session. Marissa took a breath, trying to focus on the issue at hand rather than understand everything at once. Stick to the anger. Stick to the dad relationship. We might need to talk a little bit about what it was like for you living with your dad. Is that okay? Cleena says, yeah, I guess so. Is he still around in your life now? Short answer, no. I guess I took Mum's side. Once he was gone, she kind of turned me against him. So I stopped phoning him. Once I was 18, and Mum kicked him out when I was 16. When he was at home with us, me and my 2 younger brothers, it was bloody awful. He'd get drunk every weekend, shout and scream at us for any reason he could find. I screamed back at him one night and I got a whack across the face. I never tried that again. It was much quieter when he left, but I sometimes think that he left some of his anger behind in me. Are you angry at him now? Yeah, fuck's sake, of course I am. Oh, I use the F word in this book. How could he think it was all right to treat us that way? He never helped us out with money, with anything. I didn't get any texts, not even a card on my birthday or anything about Ariana when she was born. Imagine, he's a granddad now and he didn't even bother. He might as well be dead. So yeah, I am angry at him. Very angry. Cleena was sitting on the edge of her seat. Her shoulders were tight and she was getting stressed. Marissa wanted to diffuse it, but she wasn't sure how to. But she didn't want to avoid going deeper either. She wondered where to go with this. To go back further? That could only bring up more anger. Then she had an idea. If your dad was here right now in the room with us, what would you say to him? Cleena jumped as if she got a fright. She looked around, seeming worried, and then she relaxed, realizing that he wasn't actually there. Jesus, don't spring that one on me. You gave me a start. I'm sorry. I didn't know it would upset you that much. It must have been traumatic living with him. Being in the same flippin' room as him was traumatic. Geez, my body reacted to you saying that. Seems like it goes very deep. Yeah, it does. Cleena sighed. If I was to see him now, I don't know what I'd say to him, or if I even could talk to him at all. He whacked me more than once, you know, and my brothers too. I've had bruises that lasted for months from his outbursts. He hit Ma one night right in front of us all and gave her a black eye. That was the worst. It wasn't long after that when she kicked him out. Cleena seemed to calm down, talking about this. She wasn't getting emotional or teary-eyed. Marissa decided to leave her the space to continue to talk rather than get in the way of the flow. So finding out what happens to Cleona, how Marissa works with anger, what happens next week. You can tell from Cleona actually what she's wearing when she walks in the room, what kind of mood she's in. But then there's, the stuff about Marissa finding love in her life, stuff about her relationship with her mother, and her guides. And I love the cover. Look, there's one of Marissa's guides there. That's Marissa sleeping. And there's her beloved cat, Tobermory. And what I've done is, as she's woken up and the light's shining through and she's finding her inner power, we've got Tobermory coming closer to the front of the story. And then here we have the counselling room at the back, which I really love. And you don't get to see that in the Kindle version, so it's great to share it with you. So look, what can I do? I can't put out adverts, I can't do Facebook Live, but I've read a little bit from the first book because most of you have not read it yet. And then there's the second book just waiting here for you when you finish the first. And it's summertime and some of you might be going away, some of you might be taking time off and wondering, what will I read? Well, here are some really good books. I think they're good. And I would be first to put my hand up and say I don't like a book that I've written myself, and I don't think I would ever publish anything that I don't like. And they're published by Praxis Publishing. Doesn't that look cool? That's me, by the way. And because it gives me the freedom to say what I want. I don't have to do what some editors and publishers want me to do, which can be tough when you're trying to speak the truth and they're afraid of truth. Like, I had an incident with one of my publishers didn't like me using the word victim. If you're going to be in victim mentality, you're part of the victim triangle. If you want to learn more about victim triangle, listen to Healing for Healers podcast, the one that I talked to Chris Waters. She's teaching this victim perpetrator triangle for years. It's a thing. How can you not mention the word victim? If people are going around with a victim mentality, then they're going to become, they're going to stay victims. So listen, guys, I'm really sorry that this isn't a live, because one of my favorite things to do is to interact with you, take your questions, have a chat with you, do a bit of healing when we're online. And I'm not going to be able to do that till next month, because then Facebook have decided, well, your time in Facebook jail is over. So fingers crossed that it is. But, you can talk to me beneath in the comments. Join me on Telegram. I'm going to give you the link, and I'm there all the time. And I think with my Telegram group, I have that freedom to say what I want to say. I've got comments open so you can say what you want to say, and I've started to do a lot more healing in there. And we'll see where things are going, because we're in very interesting times and it's not over yet. So why not get yourself a treat? Buy a book for yourself and buy one for your friend, and sit back and escape from all the crazy that's going on, and read about Marissa and learn about magic that's inside of you, because really ultimately that's what this is. She's awakening to the magic that she has within. It's not about finding a man and buying a house and having babies. This is about stepping into your true power, becoming who you are, the person that you know that you can be. And I'm here to help you with that. That's why I think it's wonderful, because if it does trigger you, the books, then I'm here. And I've got programs and I've got sessions, I've got a healing circle that you can join, and let's just do this thing. Let's just take our power back, step into the world as the powerful beings that we are, because we're conditioned out of it. That's why you have to awaken, because you're sleepwalking. If you think that you're not powerful, you're sleepwalking. If you're told you're not good enough, you're sleepwalking. Get rid of all of that sleep. Rub your eyes. Wake up. Awaken to your true potential. So chat to me in the comments, and I'll be back for a live, and maybe you'll come and join me for a session and all that good stuff. And I hope you enjoy the books. Okay, bye.